Most people think getting abs requires counting every single calorie, perfect meal timing, the best supplements, hours of endless cardio, and eating nothing but chicken, broccoli, and rice forever. But after having and maintaining six pack abs for the past 10 years straight, I've realized something shocking. Most of this stuff, the fitness industry tells you to obsess over doesn't actually matter, like at all. And the crazy part is, these are the exact things keeping most people stuck. Now, if we haven't met yet, my name is Conan. I've competed in 3 bodybuilding shows. I run 6 marathons, and I've competed in 2 high rocks competitions. And also, I've coached hundreds of busy, career-driven men lose 30 to 50 pounds, all without sacrificing their favorite foods or spending hours inside of the gym. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the 10 things I completely stopped giving an F about or stopped caring about after staying lean for years. I'm also going to talk about what actually matters and why the fitness industry massively overcomplicates fat loss. Because once you understand this, getting lean becomes so simple. Even a 5-year-old could do it. So starting with thing number 1 that I stopped caring about, counting every single calorie. The fitness industry tells you to track every gram of food forever, for the rest of your life. But personally, I haven't counted calories neurotically consistently in years. Now you're probably wondering why. Aren't you a coach? Shouldn't you be practicing what you preach? Yes, I have. And I do. But once you understand calories, macros, food quality, and just have good portion awareness, and you know exactly what a serving size looks like you can look at a food, whether it's some chicken, some oatmeal, potato, any food, and you can roughly guesstimate how big it is in terms of like grams, ounces, and how many calories it is with the macronutrients as well, like how much protein, carbohydrates, and fats, which eventually, after tracking your food for years, you will get to that point. And once you get to that point, you don't have to bring out a food scale everywhere you go or measure everything to the exact gram, because you have the scale and you have the food awareness, and your body actually regulates itself surprisingly well. Now, research from the National Institutes of Health shows people who eat mostly whole foods, right? Foods with only one ingredient in them, naturally just consume far fewer calories without consciously tracking them. Now, most of my clients, yes, we had them start tracking their food temporarily because they come inside of our program with like no knowledge, no experience. They don't know what a calorie is. They don't know what a macronutrient is. They don't know what a serving size looks like. They have zero food awareness. So getting that understanding first, getting that knowledge first is the first most important step, right? But eventually, once you've done this for, I wouldn't even say years, probably like if you're like really on top of it for like weeks, sometimes months, a lot of our clients, they transition to simple structure instead of being constantly food obsessed. So what that looks like is 3 to 6 meals, depending on their meal frequency, depending on what they want, sticking to 80% real whole foods, and then making sure that they have protein at every single meal that they consume. Just having that somewhat of a simple structure allows you to be so much more flexible and allows you to not have to obsess over weighing every single food. And guess what? The weight continuously drops every single week and every single month because they've gained the knowledge. They had the habits set in place. Moving on to thing number 2, perfect meal timing. People stress, people obsess about eating at 6 p.m. versus 8 p.m. or whether they missed the anabolic window after their workouts. But research published in the Journal of International Society of Sports Nutrition shows meal timing has minimal impact, very little impact compared to the total calories and protein intake throughout the day. Your body doesn't magically store fat because dinner was eaten too late. I've eaten dinner as early as 5 p.m., as late as 10 p.m., 8 p.m., it doesn't matter when you eat dinner. It doesn't matter when you eat breakfast. It doesn't matter when you eat lunch. It all does not matter. And I've done all of these things, eating meals at different times while staying lean year round. Because what matters most is your daily habits, how many calories you consume over a daily basis, and not the exact clock. If you eat carbs at 8 p.m., just because the clock says it's 8 p.m., your body does not know the difference between you eating carbs at whatever o'clock versus 8 p.m. It does not care and it does not matter. What it cares about is how many carbs in total you ate throughout the day, how many calories you ate in total throughout the day, and not about at what times you ate them at. This was a thing that I used to obsess over, where I would finish my workout and immediately had to slam down a post-workout shake. And I had to eat my meals at a certain time, and I could not eat carbs past a certain time. And this neuroticism took so much away from my life, from just me honestly enjoying it as well, right? Because the reason I got into fitness was to live a better life, have more energy, look better, feel better. But once I start to obsess over these small little things, it actually took away from that, right? And I see a lot of people still make this mistake. So please do not let that be you. The third thing is supplements with over 50 ingredients. You walk into any supplement store right now and you will see fat burners on the shelves, test boosters, greens powders, detox pills, and most of them are expensive nonsense. Even supplement researchers like Dr. Eric Trexler and Dr. Brad Schoenfeld emphasize that supplements provide very small, very, very little benefits compared to just training hard and a well balanced diet. Like, I guarantee you, if you just sleep enough, manage your stress, eat a well balanced diet, eat enough protein, eat some fruit and veg, and resistance train a couple times a week, that is all you need. And no supplement can replace that, can substitute that. A lot of people are looking for the shortcuts. Oh, what pill can I take? What detox tea can I take to replace the hard work that I know deep down I really should be doing? But I would rather find the shortcuts. But unfortunately, there are certain things in life where you just have to put into work. You have to go through, I won't say the suffering, but you just have to go through the grind. You have to put in the reps. You have to put into volume. You have to eat the meals. You have to get in your sleep. Maybe with AI coming out in the next 5 to 10 years, you may be able to get away with certain things, but it's one of these things as well of like, do you actually want the shortcuts? Because let's say, okay, I gave you a pill, I gave you a supplement, and all of your health and fitness issues would be resolved. You have six pack abs, you're healthy, you're lean, you're energetic, all these things just by taking this one pill. Would you actually value that? Like, instantly getting results. There's a reason why people value having six pack abs, having muscle, because it's very difficult to attain. And that is why whenever we see someone at the beach who's in tip top phenomenal shape, or you see someone on social media in phenomenal shape, we admire that. We're like, wow, that is amazing. And we don't have the same reaction when we see a fat person, an obese person eating McDonald's, right? Because eating McDonald's and being fat is easy. Anyone can do that. But having six pack abs, being lean, and being able to maintain that year round like I have for the past 10 years, that is admirable. That is what people want, right? And so if anyone could get six pack abs in a blink of an eye just by taking a pill, a lot of people won't even value that anymore. Because where's the suffering? Where's the hard work? Where's the dedication? Where is, like, the view isn't worth it unless you actually climbed on top of the mountain. If you can see the view every day, it's like, well, what's the point, right? And so this is more of like a mindset reframe where I think it's okay for you to go through the grinds, go through the suffer, put in the reps, and not look for the shortcuts because you wouldn't value it. So this is one of the only things in life, really, or one of the few things in life where just suck it up, put in the work, because I guarantee you, you will value the results that you get from that so much more by putting in the effort, because you know deep down how much effort it took, what sacrifices you made. And I know I'm making this sound hardcore and extreme, which To some people it is, to others maybe not as much, but like, yeah, like it is something you should work towards. It is something that you should value 100%, right? Now, on the topic of supplements, if I were to recommend supplements, these are maybe the top three that I would recommend, maybe top four. Number one, protein powder. Not because you need it, not because you need it immediately after your workout, just because it is a convenient way to hit your protein goals. If you have a hard time getting your protein from real foods, which I always recommend, whether it's chicken, beef, fish, eggs, egg whites, whatever, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, then yes, supplementing in a protein powder or a protein bar or a protein cookie, whatever. Yeah, it's just an easy, convenient way to hit your protein goals, right? Second one is creatine monohydrate, one of the most scientifically researched supplements out there. It can give you a slight boost in power and strength by increasing your ATP, which is your body's currency for using energy, especially in short bursts. So think of like your 1 to 5 rep max that may experience a slight increase. Or when you're sprinting, just like something fast and explosive, which therefore indirectly can help you build, a bit more muscle over time if you take it consistently, 5 to 10 grams every single day. And then the last two are caffeine, which can have an acute effect on your energy levels, can suppress your appetite too. Just make sure you don't have it too late during the day because that can have a negative impact on your sleep. And then electrolytes. If you sweat a lot, if you work hard, all these things, electrolytes could be an easy way to just replenish some of your electrolytes and also just to stay hydrated. And it's a nice little tasty drink as well to drink during one of your workouts. That is it. Everything else is marketing. Number 4 is hours of cardio. People think getting lean requires suffering on the treadmill for hours every single day, that you have to run marathons. But studies from Harvard School of Public Health show daily walking, not running, not HIIT workouts, not sprinting, but just daily walking, something anyone can do at any time. Doing this alone dramatically improves weight control and metabolic health. Now, most of my fat loss and my clients' fat loss came from lifting weights, resistance training 2 to 6 times a week, walking 8 to 12,000 steps every single day, and just staying active, living an active lifestyle. That is it. And not destroying yourself with endless cardio, which, by the way, that can negatively interfere with your weight training sessions. It can impact your joints, your connective tissues, all these things. And once again, most of my busy clients, they're busy, they're working, they have a job, they have a family, they have kids. They still lose 30 to 50 pounds without doing any traditional cardio because their daily activity is nice and high. They get their daily steps in. Number 5, eating clean 100% of the time. One of the fastest ways to destroy your relationship with food is labeling food as either good or bad. Putting specific labels on food is a surefire way to create a horrible relationship with food. And the reason I can say this is because I have done that myself. I used to think this food is good and this food is bad. If I eat more of the good food and less of the bad food, I am good. And if I eat bad food, I am a failure. I'm a bad person. I committed a crime. All these things sound silly, right? You didn't commit a crime. You did not break the rules. You did not break the law. You're not going to get arrested for eating quote unquote bad food. Now, yes, there are certain foods like those single ingredient foods that I talked about earlier that are maybe better for you in terms of, okay, they fill you up a bit more. They have more fiber. They have more minerals, more just more bang for the buck calorie wise. Whereas more processed foods, pretty much strips away all of the good stuff, all of the fiber, all of the minerals, all of everything, and they're hyper palatable, meaning that they're very easy to overeat and overconsume. And that is the reason why most people are fat, 100%, right? You take a russet potato and you boil it, and you just eat it with some salt and pepper. It's gonna fill you up a whole lot more, and your likelihood of overeating that is a lot less compared to taking that potato, putting it in the deep fryer with a bunch of oil, drenching it in salt, adding ketchup on top, and then eating that. You're likely going to enjoy that food a whole lot more and therefore overeat it. And by frying it, it just makes it tastier, crispier, and it just makes it more hyper palatable, right? So yes, there are certain foods that make it harder to overeat and harder to get fat on, and other foods that make it very easy to overeat and therefore easier to get fat on. So that is 100% true, which is why, again, 80% of the time I recommend everyone to eat whole foods the majority of the time. But that does not mean that we can never indulge in our favorite foods, whether it is sushi or burgers or fries or ice cream or donuts or whatever, right? Because that is not sustainable. And the moment you tell yourself, I can never have a donut ever again, guess what your brain starts doing? It starts to crave that donut. Whereas if you tell yourself that, hey, I can have a donut in moderation, maybe not every single day, maybe not every single week, but hey, if I'm out with my friends and we're at a theme park and there happens to be a donut stand and I can fit it into my macros, then yeah, I can still eat a donut while reaching my goals. And by having this kind of mindset, it's it's just a lot healthier, and it stops you from having this binge restrict cycle where you're either 100% eating healthy, or as soon as you eat something considered off plan or considered unhealthy, you go all out and say, okay, well, I already had this donut. I might as well turn this into an entire cheat day. And I just go completely all out and I binge. More on that later. But once again, labeling food as good or bad, or the second you restrict something, like I said, inside of your brain, you start to crave it more. Research from psychology studies on dieting behavior consistently shows rigid restriction increases binge eating. So the more you restrict yourself from anything in life, the more tempting it becomes to binge on that thing. Now, I personally eat pizza, eat burgers, eat sushi. I love these foods. I'm a big foodie. I used to be a fat kid growing up. I love eating food, right? And I think we all do. Food is a huge part of our culture, but I'm still able to eat these foods while staying lean because consistency beats perfection 10 times out of 10. 80-20 rule. 80% whole foods, 20% more processed foods. Having this healthy balance while hitting your calories and macros over the long term, that is the best way, the most sustainable way to accomplish your goals without feeling restrictive. Number 6, I stopped focusing on what the scale says. Your body weight fluctuates constantly. If I weigh myself right now, I'm probably 5 pounds heavier than when I was 2 hours ago because I've eaten something, I've drinking a ton of water, I did my workout, right? Whereas if I weigh myself later on this evening with a body full of food, I'm going to maybe be 10 pounds heavier, depending on what types of food I ate, the volume, the salts, all these things. Your body weight fluctuates on an hourly basis, a daily basis. That is why we're not concerned about the daily fluctuations. And we're more so concerned about the weekly and monthly fluctuations. Because over time, if you're on track on your calorie deficit, the weight should be going down. Maybe not every single day consistently, but week after week and month after month, right? The reason why your body weight fluctuates could be due to water, glycogen, sodium, salts, sleep, stress, all these things. All of these things affect the number on the scale. Now, I've woken up 5 pounds heavier overnight while looking leaner, while looking better when looking in the mirror. How crazy is that? And this is why I teach my clients to focus on, yes, the body weight matters over time, but short term and also long term, like your waist measurements, is your waist getting smaller, your progress photos, right? Because the number on the scale could either maintain or go up, but you visually could look like a completely different person. There's something called body recomposition, where you're both able to lose body fat and build muscle at the same time. So that may not reflect on the scale. It may, like, your body may literally be the exact same weight, but because you've lost the fat and built the muscle, you actually look a whole lot better. We also measure your confidence, your energy levels, the way your clothes fit, your performance in the gym. Are you hitting PRs? Are you getting stronger or not? All of these things matter as well. So stop obsessing over the weight on the scale and start measuring more things outside of that. Number 7, protein shakes after every workout. For years, people believed if you didn't slam a protein shake immediately after training, after doing a workout, you were wasting, or you just wasted your workout, right? If you just worked out and you didn't have a protein shake handy right after, it meant that that workout was just a waste of time. It didn't happen. It didn't count. But research on the anabolic window, right? The window post-workout shows the muscle building window lasts several hours. It doesn't disappear in seconds. It doesn't disappear in minutes. You could do a workout and not eat something for the next hour, and you could still be fine. You could wait 2 hours. And especially if you had a pre-workout meal with protein, those amino acids are still going to be circling around your body, and they can actually help with the recovery process as well. Now, here's a caveat. If you train fasted first thing in the morning and you haven't eaten anything, then yes, eating something after your workout becomes increasingly more important. But if you train in the middle of the day, you're a couple meals down, you've had a couple of protein meals, you had something pre-workout, you just finished your workout and you don't have access to food right away, don't stress, don't panic. You still got food in your system. Don't worry about it. You can eat something an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours later, right? So don't worry about that. So meaning a normal meal after your workouts also works perfectly fine. Now, most days I just eat real food, right? Like I can't remember the last time I actually had a protein shake, to be honest. I eat eggs, meats, potatoes, fruits, just normal food, right? Now, what I like to do with my protein powder is I like turning it into sludge. So I take a scoop of protein powder, add a bit of water, and then I'll add it into like my bowl of oatmeal, either in the morning or before bed, whenever I want to have my bowl of oatmeal, add some berries, peanut butter, all these things. It's delicious. I don't like eating or drinking protein shakes. Like it doesn't fill me up. It's not as tasty. Whereas if you turn it into sludge, it's actually a lot tastier, better consistency, and you can actually use it as a topping or as a dip. And just get a bit more creative with it as well. Okay, couple things here that I stopped doing. Number 8, cheat days. The idea of cheat days exists because people restrict way too hard during the week. You have probably done this, right? You're good Monday through Friday. You're on top of your diet, blah, 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 blah. But then on the weekend, you go out with the boys and you go all out, right? This leads to a binge cycle. So instead, what we teach our clients is something very simple. Include foods that you love eating on a regular basis. Wow, crazy. Because when you remove the restriction, and I said this earlier, you remove the binge, and suddenly fat loss becomes actually sustainable, something that you can do for the long term. Because a lot of people have this association with, okay, if I want to lose fat, it means that I can no longer eat these types of foods ever again. And that is not true. That could not be further from the truth. You can still eat your favorite foods, but you have to be mindful and you have to make sure that you don't binge on them every single time you eat them. Eating 1 or 2 Oreos is not going to kill you. It's not going to make you fat, but eating 10,000 in one sitting after restricting yourself and binging, that could cause issues, right? And you know this. It sounds like, yeah, common sense. Of course, I know that. But then why are you doing that every single weekend? Well, the reason you do that is because you restricted yourself from eating those 1 or 2 Oreos during the week. And then you reward yourself on the weekend because you did good. And you end up binging and eating way more calories, and you take yourself out of a deficit and into a surplus, and you're 2 pounds heavier from last week. I see it happen all the time. Number 9, what other people eat. I stopped obsessing over this. Fitness influencers love arguing about different diets, right? The keto diet, other people like the vegan diets, others say the carnivore is the best, others preach the low carb approach. But here's the truth. Your body doesn't care about what diet you follow or diet labels. What it actually cares about, the only thing it cares about is how many calories you consume on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, how much protein you consume, and the food quality. That is all your body cares about. It doesn't care if you're vegan, carnivore, like it doesn't matter. No one cares. Maybe on social media, but like internally, your body does not care. So meaning what works for someone else might not work for you. If your best friend is in phenomenal shape using the vegan diet, you can still get in phenomenal shape, but you don't have to follow the vegan diet if you don't want to follow the vegan diet. I always recommend Just a balanced, well-rounded diet. Eat your proteins, eat your carbs, eat your fats, eat your favorite foods in moderation. That is the best approach. And then last thing here is new diets trends. Every single year, January 1st, the fitness industry invents this brand new miracle diet. It could be a variation of a new keto diet or a new carnivore diet or a new intermittent fasting approach or whatever comes next. And you've seen this. You see this every single year. But research consistently shows most diets work the exact same when calories and protein are controlled. The method matters less than the adherence. So whatever you can adhere to is the best diet for you specifically, not for Bob, not for Sarah, but for you. So here's what actually matters. After 10 years of staying lean year round, here's what I actually care about. I care about my sleep. I care about my gut health, stress management, lifting weights, progressive overload, eating mostly 80% of the time whole foods, walking daily, being active, and lastly, being consistent with all of that. That is it. You probably noticed I did not mention any crazy supplements, any crazy dieting approach. No hacks, no extremes, just boring fundamentals done consistently over a long period of time. That is it. It's just doing ordinary things for an extraordinary amount of time. I'm going to say that one more time because this is one of my favorite sayings. Success comes down to doing ordinary things for an extraordinary amount of time. A lot of people cannot do that. They do it the other way around. They want to do extraordinary things for an ordinary amount of time. But that does not work. It never works. You burn out, you crash, you binge, and you keep on spinning your wheels in circles. Now, personally, when I first got into fitness at the age of 15, I was obsessed with every single detail. Meal timing, macro tracking, fat burners, perfect diets, all these things. And ironically, here's the funny part. That made everything 10 times harder for me. It made things harder. Now, the moment that I simplified things, getting lean, but more importantly, staying lean became effortless. It became like brushing my teeth. It's just something that I do. It's part of my identity. It's part of my habits. And the same thing happens with every single one of our clients inside of the Barbarian squad. Busy dads, entrepreneurs, executives. When they stop chasing hacks and start focusing on the basics done consistently, they drop 30 to 50 pounds while living a normal lifestyle. No extremes, no hacks. So if you were a busy man who used to be athletic maybe, but now you've gained 30 to 50 pounds and you feel like you've lost your edge, you can book a free consultation call with me down below where we'll essentially go over your current goals to see exactly how much weight you're looking to lose. We'll go over your current struggles to see exactly what's holding you back right now from achieving those goals. And then lastly, we will create a game plan together to help you absolutely demolish these goals in the next 3 to 6 months. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see y'all there. Peace.